Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Stock Convention with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup. We've covered a good chunk of the Marvel books. Now it's time to wrap up the Marvel side of things and kick things off with Miles Morales' Spider-Man, number 10. So, of late, Miles has had a bit of a rough time of things between Rabble and then Carnage. And this has left his, made his spider sense kind of always on. To the point where it's always tingling, making it hard for Miles to discern when there's actually a threat, or when it's not just his spider sense kind of saying kind of reacting to it. There's going to be a threat at any time. So, this all came to a head in a recent fight with Hobgoblin, while Hobgoblin was attempting to rob a Beyond Corporation warehouse. And afterwards, Miles discussed everything with Tiana, his girlfriend, also known as Starling, and kind of maybe Miles needs some help, like professional help. So he's going. The issue begins. Miles is about to start. He's going to start therapy. The spider sense is going off with pretty much anything. So he's asked to take care of the trash that day and does forget. As there doesn't seem to be anyone. It's quiet Saturday. Miles slips on his mask and swings through town to Misty Knight's. Misty Knight's place for his where he's going to be having his appointment. He meets with Dr. Sasquatch, Dr. Leonard Sampson, formerly known as Doc Sampson. Explains everything. Explains what's going on to him, and it's a preliminary type of thing. But the doc makes some suggestions, which make for a good stopgap, but in the end, it's Dr. Simmons' protege, Miss Kwan, who will be treating, who will be treating Miles. So, but well, okay, this is so bad. He starts swinging home, and his spider sense goes off. Hightail is keeping tabs on for Agent Gao. They fight a bit. Hightail, being a speedster, drags Miles as she runs alongside a wall. And he's not engaged in any illegal vigilante activity. She wants to bring him in, but Miles ain't letting her. Webs her in the face and turns invisible, hiding on top of a train to get back home. Get some food, realizes he's forgot to take out the trash. When doing so, again, his spider sense goes off and he's attacked. Creates a Venom saber, which he uses to slice off his attacker's arm, though the arm heals back. His attacker once again lunged at him before being impaled on two swords by Blade and his daughter Bloodline. Who Blade introduces Spider-Man into a whole new world. Well, Bloodline states that, not to mind her dad. He likes to make an entrance. That is where the issue ends. All right, having Blade show up is always nice. I, uh, I honestly, I'm not sure if Blade and Miles have ever interacted before. It's not that surprising. Miles, after all, is not doesn't exactly operate in mystical circles, so in usual and even that, and yes, while things go bump in the night aren't necessarily mystical problems. At the same time, Miles is, like I said, to be a bit more grounded, I guess. Moving on to our next book, we've got Red Goblin number 8. Where we left off, Normie had attacked um, had attacked Miles, and Miles was able to subdue it with a Venom blast, and they talked things out a bit, with Miles explaining what's going on with his friend Tim. Meanwhile, the Goblin Nation members who kidnapped Tim were attacked by Crossbones, who was hired by the Goblin King, Phil Urich, to kill them and at least potentially speaking, the kid. And while most of them were killed, the Goblin Knight wasn't. And she managed to escape with Tim. So, the issue opens with Liz calling Norman, because it seems Norman's missing. Without entirely knowing what's going on, Norman's heading back to New York from Bolivia, and Liz seemingly turns into misery. Miles and Normie are currently walking through the sewers when they run into Crossbones. He's already been blown up once today, so he's not happy. But takes a few hits from Spider-Man. Miles gives him a few hits, knocks him out, but also messes up his hand pretty bad, and they continue on through the sewers. Kendra, the Goblin Knight, makes it clear that, yeah, she knows that the Goblin King hired Crossbones to kill her, even going into why this happened. But seeing that they've got the kid. Well, the Goblin Nation's got the kid. However, Condra dies. But Normie gives Miles directions to the Goblin Nation hideout, though not actually. Instead, he's given directions to a Charlie Cheese place. While Normie shows up at the Goblin Nation's base. Goblin's out. To save his friend, but well, Phil briefly tries to convince Rascal to switch hosts, but Normie takes responsibility for, basically saying that if Rascal's a monster, it's because he made him. It's because Normie made him one, which means that Rascal belongs with him. But and so Normie goblins up, deals with Goblin Nation. And kind of says, "Yeah, yes, we're hurting people, but we're hurting bad people. So at least there's that." Elsewhere, Norman Osborn is suiting up in his gold goblin armor when there's a knock on the door. It's Tim, telling Norman that Norman's in trouble and needs Norman's help. And that is where the issue ends. I'm really glad this is not just a miniseries. It's actually been a really interesting book. I kind of hope it sticks around. I actually like the idea of Gold Goblin. I wouldn't mind if Red Goblin stuck around too. You know, you kind of need to have multiple good guy goblins. Moving on though to our next book, we've got Venom number 25. Where we left off, Eddie Brock had ventured to Latveria in an effort to borrow, maybe not exactly, maybe maybe without asking permission, but borrow Doctor Doom's time platform. This led to a fight between the two of them, and time platform was activated in a rather haphazard manner, and so Doom and Eddie were flung through time. They've ended up in what appears to be the Cretaceous period. The two of them posturing and arguing. They're attacked by what appears to be a venomized T-Rex as the time platform repairs itself. It's once again activated, and the venomized T-Rex is revealed to actually have been Meridius. But next, Venom and Doom end up in World War II, occupied France, when Flexo is being deployed. Though Flexo is deployed shortly after Doom and Eddie had been there for a minute, Flexo is distracted from his mission by Eddie, and Eddie learns that Flexo has been sent to assassinate Hitler. And yeah, Eddie just messed up the mission. But Eddie and Doom once again move onward, while Flexo wonders what to do next. Eddie and Doom end up in close to the present. Doom at the Latvian embassy in the U.S., Eddie in presumably Midtown, New York, where he meets a young Peter Parker. Tries to ingratiate himself with Peter. Kind of convincing Peter, that basically we get Eddie saying that Peter's the person he wants to be, but by explaining it as though he's a friend of Peter's late Uncle Ben, and that Ben was the person he wants to be, knowing that Peter is who Ben emulates. Meanwhile, Doom is fighting off dealing with his younger self, proving that he is Doom, of course, obviously. But the younger Doom is briefly knocked out, and his memories are removed. Doom takes Eddie to see a mutual acquaintance of theirs, Kang. Of course, upon their arrival, Kang makes some chronoclones, which fight Eddie. Of course, Bedlam comes out to play, eating two of them. Actually, while Doom kills another, basically creating 3 additional timelines for Kang to conquer. But Kang opts to give Eddie the use of an antique in his collection, Rosebud 2, the FF's original time sled, in exchange for a sample of the Bedlam symbiote, which Eddie obliges. Eddie takes Rosebud, goes back to the Garden of Time, all in an effort to deal with Viridius. Doom and Kang discuss things with, though of course Doom discussed certain things about time travel and why, namely why Kang isn't so worried about giving Eddie access to a time machine. Though Doom does irritate Kang to the point where Kang does attempt to kill him, though of course Doom ends up back in close to the present, where he sees a war between Venoms, or a war between symbiotes. So Doom returns to the past, finding Flexo, and basically convincing him that he needs to kill Eddie Brock. And in the Venom War, we see Dylan and Eddie fighting while Flexo looks on. And that is where the issue ends. Things are definitely getting interesting here. The book has been odd with going back and forth between Dylan and Eddie, but at least it's in a manner where you'll get a story focusing on Dylan, then one focusing on Eddie, as opposed to issue by issue going back and forth between the two. So, anyways, continuing on the Venom train, moving on to our next book, we have the Venom Annual. It also continues the Contest of Chaos. Agatha Harkness was gathering her champions, and well, there's two more to fight it out: Venom and Deadpool. So one night, Venom is about to take Princess for walkies. They get outside, and a balloon in the sewer catches their attention, and Venom is transported to Hopperland, the boardwalk of your dreams. Shortly thereafter, Venom arrives. There's apparently a prize they can win. Venom decides he wants it in an attempt to maybe he can help him find his dad. Deadpool, well, yeah. So Deadpool and Venom made their way through various challenges. Utilizing the fact that both of Deadpool utilizes the fact he's fought Venom on multiple occasions. He's fought various versions of Venom on multiple occasions, so he knows a thing or two about dealing with Venom. However, in the end, Venom is able to get the item, claim the prize, and ends up joining Agatha's champions. Deadpool returns home to Princess, explaining that Venom bit his arm off. And Venom suggests that they should go. He and Valentine should go on a vacation, like a theme park, but a normal one. In our backup story, where we left off there, Clea was looking into what was going on and discovered Agatha Harkness was behind it, and the two of them face to face in the astral plane. Agatha and Clea have a bit of a duel. Excuse me. It seems that, which would seem to end with Agatha as the victor, namely just kind of pushing Clea away, but she awakes in the Bermuda Triangle, surrounded by her champions: Logan, Teguki, Storm, the Human Torch, White Fox, and now Venom. And that is where the issue ends. The next one being the X-Men Annual, which will feature Cyclops versus Captain Marvel. I have to wonder, we've already got two X-Men on among Agatha's champions. Will Cyclops be the winner, or will it be Captain Marvel? We'll have to find out. Moving on, though, to our last book for the moment, we have Ghost Rider number 18. So, throughout the Ghost Rider series, Johnny Blaze has, for most of this current series, Johnny Blaze has been traveling alongside a young woman named Talia Warroad. Talia was an FBI paranormal investigator. As I recall, she was also, before working with the FBI, she worked with S.H.I.E.L.D. there before Secret Empire. She has abilities of her own, and magical abilities, obviously. And we haven't really, her past hasn't really been touched too much on. But she's extremely knowledgeable in the mystical arts on a more self-taught gutter level. So, turns out that Talia sees things. There was a stain on the ceiling in her bedroom when she was a child that she saw as the face of a demon. But the demon gave her some. After an incident at school where she ran afoul of a demon in the bathroom, well, the demon showed up at her room and she asked some questions and was given the answers she wanted. But as she got older, she became more like the Talia we've been getting to know, including dealing with some with other gutter mages, more focused on the black arts. This included her being arrested. Afterwards, it suggested that perhaps Talia's parents take her to see Doctor Strange. This is clearly during in a different point in Doctor Strange's life than we've really been looking at lately, as Doctor Strange is wearing his blue cape and blue cape and tunic and whatnot, as opposed to the usual red. He casts a quick spell to see just what's going on with Talia, and gets she has a bit of an idea. Apparently, she's become linked to the cult of Mephisto. And in doing so, she's returned to the local leader of the cult. The president, Talia and Johnny stop at a gas station, and Talia definitely realizes that her past is beginning to catch up with her. And that is where the issue ends. Okay, I'm glad we're finally getting some additional background on Talia. I have to admit, I'm not in the slightest bit surprised that Strange had some involvement in her past. That said, it also would not surprise me if somewhere down the road we learned that she was involved with Wand before S.H.I.E.L.D.'s fall, and possibly ends up running into the current iteration of Wand, which consists of, most notably, Wong, who most likely would also know Talia. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Big shout out to Patreon patron Xander Lee. Thank you so much for your support. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.